This week on the Organized Life podcast.
Try and go back to single foods. So those beautiful containers that contain just the grains or the beans or the pasta, not and that's a limiting thing, but then really look at organizing the refrigerator and the freezer.
Yes.
So where are those whole foods going? How are those produce bins, and where are you stacking all of your haul from the farmer's market or the local
Mm-hmm.
farm? And then for your freezer, if you use those things to make chicken soup and you stock them in your freezer, how are you organizing that so that you can find it when you need it, so that you take it
Yes.
out on a Sunday night and you're all ready to go for the week?
Yes.
Because people tell me that, yes, I prep and I make all of this food, but then I forget to take it out.
Hey, and welcome to the Organized Life podcast, where we are creating a movement with powerful organizing strategies and systems that save you space, time, energy, and money. I am your host, Tequila Renee, the life organizing strategist, a professional organizer, and the owner of Extreme Audacity Organized Solutions. And if you've been following this podcast for some time now, well, we've only been alive for about 6 months, but nonetheless, if you've been following us for some time now, you know that we are on a journey to creating the organized life. And with that being said, it's a journey, right? It's not just about getting your closets organized or, getting your pantry organized. It's about creating a life full of peace, productivity that pushes you towards purpose. And with that being said, today I have Beth on here with me today, and Beth is a health detective. Welcome, Beth.
Hi, Tequila. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Beth, would you please tell the Organized Life listeners how to pronounce your last name?
Sure. My last name is Mielbrecht, Beth Mielbrecht, and I'm a health detective. So my last name is a little complicated, but it's came with my husband, and we've been
Yes,
together for over 30 years. So it's just part of the package.
that's right. Well, listen, Beth is here because once you get those closets organized, once you get the pantry organized, then what? What is it that we need to do? This podcast, the Organized Life podcast, is all about the then what. Beth helps people to understand that your symptoms aren't random. They are information, right? She works with high performing, intuitive people and that knows that something is off, even when they've been told everything is fine, right? So today we're going to talk about food, we're going to talk about energy, we're going to talk about symptoms and what it looks like to create the organized life from the inside out. All right. Because your body, right, it's a system too. We talk about systems here on the Organized Life podcast all the time. And if you're overwhelmed in your body, or maybe even ignore some of the things that are happening in your body, no amount of productivity hacks will save you. Okay. All right. So, Beth, I told them a little bit about you. Would you please tell the Organized Life listeners like how you got started in this field and how you got on this journey to being the health detective?
Absolutely. Well, yes, I'm a health detective, and I have that name because that's what one of my clients called me, and it's stuck,
Ah,
and I love it. So one of my clients calls me Google Maps for your health, because they
ah,
know that something is not right. As women, we have a sense like something doesn't feel right.
yes.
And it happens at this time of year, or it happens after I talk to this family member, or it happens, and not everybody makes those connections. And
Mm-hmm.
it has to do with the food choices. It
Yes.
has to do with your movement choices, your sleep, all of your routines and systems. And we typically know that something's out of balance, but we can't figure it out. And I'm a problem solver. So
Mm.
I'm a mechanical engineer. I've been a mechanical engineer for 35 years. And
Wow.
the one thing you need to know about engineers is we solve problems. And mechanical engineers are the ones that build solutions. We're the ones that build the cars and your heating and air conditioning system and the bridges. And those are the things that, like, really
Yeah.
practical. We are very
Yeah.
grounded and practical. And I would say that defines me as being very practical.
Mm.
And when I began having conversations with family and friends because they were always in pain, always had a migraine, always had stomach issues, and they would say, "There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I just have to live with it." Or I take this medication, but that makes me feel worse, but I guess I'll just do it anyway. My all of my problem solving spidey senses went off and said, "No, we can
Right.
solve this problem. Here's a problem. Let's solve it."
Yeah.
And so that's how I came into doing this, is helping other people solve their
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah. That's I was just telling my story yesterday on another podcast, and basically I was helping people organize their house, before I started my business. I was doing it for free, right? So you just have an intuition about certain things. You just want, like, and that's how you know what you're supposed to be doing when you're the thing you would be willing to do for free that nobody has to pay you for, right? And so that's how I got started too. So that's pretty interesting.
Yes. Yeah, I've had people follow me around the grocery store say, "What are you eating? I wanna You got bok choy? I want bok choy too." "Okay, what are
Mm,
you eating? Because you look amazing." And I value that when you're in alignment and when you've got true health, it just comes from the inside out. It doesn't matter what the clothing is, what the makeup is, how the hair is done. You know it. Your skin shines and you feel amazing and you've got all the energy in the world to do everything you want to do.
yeah. Awesome. So, when we talked previously, we talked about, you said to me something along the line is that your body wants to heal, right?
Mm.
And for people that feel like their body is constantly working against them, right? How do they tell the difference for when when they feel like their body is broken or when their body is just communicating with them? When we talked about my story a little bit, and you told me your body is communicating with you, and I like that was the highlight of our conversation for me. So, how can you tell the difference between when something may be broken or when it's like just communicating with you and letting you know that there's something that needs to shift or change or whatever like that?
Your natural state is health. And when you're out of health, you get symptoms. You get pain, you get inflammation. Inflammation isn't bad. It is sending heat and fluid to help mobilize and take care of that area that's hurting. So if you get a cut on your finger, you don't have to do anything. You can wash it, you can put a band-aid on it, but you're not saying, "Okay, skin cells, let's get to work.
Right.
Let's stop the bleeding. Let's." I mean, we wash it and put a band-aid on it, but we don't actually do anything to stop the bleeding. Of course, if you have a severe cut, there are things that you can do to, stop the hemorrhage, but let's just take
Right.
a simple cut on your finger.
Yeah.
So then it might get red and swollen and create a scab. Is the scab bad? No, that's the healing
Hmm.
response. So
Hmm.
when we're so busy in our life that we're not even aware of all the things that are going into our bodies that might not be the most beneficial. So, of course, I'm talking about food, but there's also the stress. There's also all the things we're taking in through our eyes on the television and the screens, on the phones,
Mm.
all of the conversations, the yelling, the shouting, the scary movies, that's affecting us, as well as the microplastics, as well as the environmental pollutants, the spraying
Wow.
of the long guys come and they do their spraying, and
Yeah.
all of that, it just adds up. And everyone will say, well, it's just a little bit. It's just, okay, well, we've got thousands of little bits And by time we get to a certain decade in life, there's a lot. And our body is doing the best it can. And it's taking those things and the liver's processing, and we're trying to get rid of it. And then at some point, it just kind of builds up. And so our body says, we got to protect the blood, the heart,
Mhm.
the lungs. So we're going to put it away. Let's put it in the skin. Let's put it in the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are like little HEPA filters. So
Yeah.
the little air filters. So it'll like, okay, it'll get, those will get clogged, or it'll go into your joints. So arthritis is just like a little
Mhm.
storage area of garbage. And so it gets stiff because we don't have a lot of blood flow there. And
Yeah.
and so we get pain. And you don't, is it broken if you have arthritis in your fingers and your hands or your hips? No, it's not
Mm.
broken. It's a message saying, I need more nutrition
Yeah.
and I need to help get the waste out.
Mm. Awesome. That makes so much sense. The funny thing you said, it's a lot of little bits,
Mhm.
right? We always think, oh, it's just a little bit. Oh, it's just a little bit. Yeah, but by the time you add all the little bits up, it's a lot of bit.
Yes. Yes, and we're doing the best we can. We try to live
Yeah.
as harmoniously as possible, and
Yeah.
that looks different for everyone, but I'm telling you that people who drink green smoothies and buy
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
organic, they still have, their bodies are still talking to them. You know,
That's
there's
true.
no one is can
Is an
escape it.
exception.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's an exception. So listen, Beth, if the symptoms are a solution, right? Not necessarily a problem. Why do you think we've been so conditioned to try to eliminate them so fast instead of right asking ourselves, what are they trying to protect us from? Like why do we try to just eliminate symptoms instead of trying to figure out what is the symptom communicating to me?
Well, that's a whole, there's two different paradigms, and one is eliminate or suppress. When you have a
Mm,
headache, you just want the headache to go away.
go
Go,
away.
go away. So you reach for a bottle of something, of Advil or Tylenol, or you just
Yeah.
want it to go away. Are you finding out that your neck's out of alignment and you should go to the chiropractor? Are you finding out that you're dehydrated? Are you finding out that you slouch and that you're pinching a nerve every time you slouch at your desk? It's easier to just take the medicine. And so there is
Mm,
a whole paradigm of just suppress, it'll feel better. But what happens is your body's always going trying to heal, and it will just try and come out another way. So it'll try and come out through the skin. Let's take teenagers and acne. They've got hormones all over the place and they love
yeah.
sugar. They love pizza and sugar. And so their liver is like, I can't handle all of this. And it comes out through the skin with acne. Once they get,
Mm,
so if you go to the dermatologist and you're like, okay, we're going to put these creams on, we're going to
yeah.
suppress that. Okay. Then what happens next? It goes, you still got that sugar, you're still eating that, and your body's
Yes.
like, well, where am I going to put it? It
Yes.
goes and it starts disrupting more hormone dysregulation, fatty liver. You're going to could affect the nervous system, so you get started getting like a little more, could be anxiety or depression. Like everything has a consequence when you
Yeah.
suppress something. So just talking about skin, you want to have better skin, it starts by letting the skin do its work, letting it come out. So you eat that cupcake and you eat that pizza and your skin reacts, help it come out. But if you put things on it to suppress, there's all different things. Not everything is bad, but some things are definitely suppressing. Same with pain. You know, if the
Mhm.
different steroids, sometimes people just like they say, I need it. I need that steroid shot.
Mm.
It's going to help. And it does until, but it doesn't last forever. If it did,
Yes.
you'd need one steroid shot and that would be
Yes.
good because it would help. It would help
Yeah.
mobilize the
Yeah.
waste. It'll
Yeah.
help heal it, but it doesn't actually heal anything. It
Yeah.
just temporarily suppresses the
Suppresses
pain.
it. Yeah.
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 So the move is to figure out what's going on. And so there's just two different paradigms. And sometimes you need that one. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
critical. But other times it's important to say, you know what? I'm done playing this game.
Mhm.
I want to know why this keeps coming back.
Yeah. That's so good. So here on the Organized Life podcast, as you know, we're trying to create the organized life. And a lot of times when we're doing that, we're busy doing all these maybe physical things. And our nutrition often gets pushed to the wayside. Right. So, what recommendations would you give someone who's trying to create the organized life and live a healthy life, listen to their body? What recommendations would you give them on this journey to creating the organized life?
Well, organized life with food is to go back to basics. If
Mm,
even though you might have helped or the listeners might have organized their pantry full of dry
right.
goods, try and go back to single foods. So those beautiful containers that contain just the grains or the beans or the pasta, not and that's a limiting thing, but then really look at organizing the refrigerator and the freezer.
Yes.
So where are those whole foods going? How are those produce bins, and where are you stacking all of your haul from the farmer's market or the local
Hmm.
farm? And then for your freezer, if you use those things to make chicken soup and you stock them in your freezer, how are you organizing that so that you can find it when you need it, so that you take it
Yes.
out on a Sunday night and you're all ready to go for the week?
Yes.
Because people tell me that, yes, I prep and I make all of this food, but then I forget to take it out. Well,
Yeah.
then you can do that. So using your beautiful spaces to set
Yeah.
yourself up for whole foods. And that looks different if you're a vegetarian or a vegan or an
Yeah.
omnivore, but there's so much you can do to make sure that you're prepared, and then you're not relying on things that come in packages or quick takeout meals, because you can see everything so clearly, and you've got the seasonal foods. Right now we're recording this in the winter. I'm in the
Yeah.
north in Buffalo, New York. It's cold. I
Yes.
go for root vegetables. I want all of the things that store well, the onions and the carrots and the potatoes and the
Mm,
parsnips and the rutabaga and the turnips, and making stock and stews with them. And to to be honest, it doesn't feel fun if I have to hunt around. I'm like, "Oh, wait, here's a moldy onion. I don't wanna use that." Your
yeah.
space has to be prepared so that,
Yeah.
"Oh, here's all this wonderful things. I can just easily take it out and
Yeah.
I get to work with it." And
Yeah.
that is organizing your food for optimal health.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that I talk to my clients about when I'm coaching them is to like plan your meals, like create a menu. And then once you create the menu, you go shopping in your pantry to see what you already have, in your refrigerator to see what you already have. And before you go to the grocery store, eliminate all of the old produce that's there or whatever. So now you can shop with more knowledge. You can make a better informed decisions when you go to the store, right? Because you know what you have, so that you can purchase, so that you won't over purchase. Because that's what we do. Most of my clients over purchase. They buy things that they already have, and so, making sure that you know what you have so that you won't over purchase, but also it saves you money because you're and time because you're not doing like repetitive things over and over again. So I love that. Putting those dates, like you said, if you're making stuff and putting it in the freezer, putting it dates on there is a great idea too. So yeah, that's awesome. So, You've worked with people doing all the things, right? They're doing all the right things, eating clean, taking their supplements, managing their time, but yet sometimes they still feel off, right? In those cases, what is usually being missed? What is usually like causing them to still feel maybe off?
So there's a couple of main categories that I find when I work with clients. One is nutritional deficiencies. It's
Mm,
very easy to think you're eating clean or eating well, and there's too many carbohydrates, too many processed foods. The packaging can have green leaves on it and it can say all natural, but if it comes in a box and if it has a barcode like that, you want to eliminate that kind of stuff. It could be not
yeah.
having enough fats. People, one of the most common things is I'm telling people, eat more butter, you need tallow, you need ghee, or if you're not eating plant-based fats, then definitely there's got to be more fat in your diet and less of the carbohydrates. So that's one thing, is that we need those minerals. And if you're a coffee drinker, that is stripping out some of the minerals. So there's push and pull. You're just because you might be having some leafy greens, if you're also having it with a lot of caffeinated things, it's not being bioavailable. So we look at that. So we
Mhm.
look at your nutrition, and is there some minerals that you need, or fats or something like that. The other thing is environmental toxins. There's usually, everybody has something that your body is trying to get rid of. We've got glyphosate sprayed on lots of crops. We've got
Mm.
pesticides outside. I mean, you can't go anywhere without somebody's manicured lawn, or
Yeah.
common spaces or shopping areas where it's just, we want to see beautiful manicured grass. So
Mhm.
it takes chemicals to do that. So there's things like that. And there's heavy metals, where you go to the gas station, there's just all kinds of things that are in our
Right.
world. So there's environmental toxins. And then the other part is emotional support. We all have
Mm.
some base level of um, stress that we have, and some people can manage it really well. Other times it gets out of balance, and sometimes our hormones have a lot to do with whether we're on a roller coaster or whether we're even. And we can even have stress responses or emotional impacts from things long ago, like when we
Yeah.
were too young to process
Yeah.
it. Life goes so fast,
Yes.
and we might not have been mature enough to deal with it. And so that's why these things sometimes come back when we're older, because now we're ready to look back at it. And so my work also addresses that, because we're one body. We're not a physical body and an emotional body. So
Mm.
at the beginning, when we cut our finger, so at my age right now, if I cut my finger, I don't think about it. It's done. I clean it up, put a band-aid on
Right.
it, I'm good. But if
Yeah.
you were 6 and you cut your finger and it scared you,
Yeah.
it could be so minor, and this is just an example, but you hold on to that a little bit longer, and you need
Mm.
more reassurance that
Yeah.
you're okay.
Yeah.
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 So
That's true.
big things and small things. And so those things get stored in our body. Everything is in our body.
Mm.
And when it's ready to, if it hasn't been dealt with, it will come out. And what I find actually is that those deep emotions, if there's deep ones, they get stuck in an area of weakness. And you
Mm.
might know this when you're having a rough couple of weeks and your lower back is just aching. It goes there. Or your neck always feels tight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
why is my neck hurt? I'm trying to drive and I can't look around because my neck hurts. But you know that there is something connected to it. And that's part of the work I do, because most people would say, well, go get a massage or take some
Yeah.
medicine, but it's all connected.
Yeah. what does it actually look like to create order in your body? Like when we talk about creating order, right, in our houses, I know what that looks like, right? What does it look like for us to create order in our bodies?
It looks like 3 things. It looks like putting good inputs into your body. So, good food and water in your mouth, happy things through your eyes. So
Ah,
so maybe shut down the news for a little while. You'll
yeah,
be fine. Like, if something big happens, don't worry, somebody will tell you. But
right.
yeah, so it's in all of your senses. So good things in your eyes, good food in your mouth. So that's one. Two is keep the bad foods out. Keep the bad stuff out of sight, out of mind. It'll still be there. That's the scary movies. That's the hour by hour news reel. That's take a break from alcohol. Take a break from caffeine.
Mm,
Things that's when you're ready to. That's what an ordered life goes. Caffeine really puts you into a hyper stress mode. For women, it really depletes our adrenals, which throws off our hormones. It's a, we're especially susceptible to those effects. And then the third thing is make sure your waste management system is working properly. That's
ah,
two, and that goes by two different ways. One is make sure you're pooping every day, and the
yep.
other is that your lymph system. So your lymph are the nodules that are like the little filters. They're around your ears, down your neck, at your collarbone, all in your armpits, at your groin. They're also behind your knees. They're also at your abdomen. So, and other places, but those are it's a system that takes all of the waste. I mean, your body is making new
Mm,
cells, and as that happens, there's little bits of debris and waste. And so we we naturally, in the process of living, have waste. So
mhm,
that has to we break down food, we metabolize it, we get a little bit of waste. We have to make sure that system is working properly. So that's
yeah,
the lymph and the digestive system and the colon. So those are the three things. Good things in, keep the bad things out, make sure the waste is working. And that's
okay,
an ordered body. That's health.
yes, sounds like it, yeah. So many high performing people, like myself, we pride ourselves in pushing through discomfort, pushing through whatever is happening, to get the job done or to get to the other side. At what point does pushing through become the very thing that blocks healing and peak performance?
I know about pushing through. And sometimes it just seems like, well, I think I can do it. So
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I'm going to go through with it. I'm going to take that call. I'm going to go to that meeting. I'm going to do this thing. That's fine. Is it one day? Is it 1 hour, one day, 1 week?
Oh,
Find the endpoint. If there is no endpoint, you're on a hamster wheel.
okay.
If it's 1 month, you'd have to come into that month super energized, super healthy to know I'm going to do that. People who do things like write a book and then go on a book launch tour, or people who are training for a marathon, very similar. Like, I have this goal, but then at the end, after so many days or weeks, it stops. And now I take a break and I put it in my calendar and I need to recover. So if you push through, plan for the recovery. I
Mm,
don't think that you can push through more than a month. And you need to go into that month as if you were an athlete, fully energized at
mhm.
peak performance to be able to do that. If you're going into a high stress period feeling exhausted, feeling not right, call it off.
Yeah. That's so good. I love what you said. If you're gonna be going pushing through, schedule some time off. Listen, I rarely schedule time off. I did schedule some time off this holiday season, and I am thanking myself over and over and over again. I had such an amazing Christmas, New Year's, holiday break that I will never not do it again. While I was on my break, it was close to the end of it, probably Saturday or Friday or Saturday. I went on my calendar and I went to the end of 2026 and I blocked it off. I blocked it out.
Wonderful.
Blocked it out. Like the way I feel, the way I felt, and just seeing the impact that that break had on my life, there's no turning back for me.
Good. I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. Yeah, 'cause you are busy and you have goals for your year and your quarter and your month,
yeah,
and so you do push a little bit. But just like someone who lifts weights, so if any of your listeners know this, when you lift your weights, you're making little micro tears in the muscle. So you're not building muscle, you're not strengthening during the act of lifting weights. And these could be 10-pound weights, 15-pound
yeah.
weights. We're not talking about, big Olympic barbells.
Right, right, right.
Weights that we women lift. No growth is happening there. No muscle growth is happening there. The effects happen that night when you go to sleep.
Mhm.
When you sleep, the muscle repairs, and as it repairs, you get more muscle volume. Your bone strengthens. Your bone's like, wow, we need to up level so that our bones are stronger to handle that level of weights when she does those squats with those weights on her
Mhm.
shoulders. Yeah, then your bones get stronger at night when you're sleeping, when you're in recovery. If you don't sleep well, you probably don't want to go to the gym the next day. And that's why you don't lift weights, well, heavy weights every single day.
Mhm.
You need that break to recover. But we don't take that to our life. We're busy taking care of our family and running a
Yeah,
household and running our business and going to work and taking care of everything else
yeah,
except ourselves.
yeah, yeah. That's been me for so long. In the past few years, I've made it my mission. Like my boys graduated from high school and they're doing their own thing. They're thriving and love watching them do their little adulting thing. And I am just like, when I realized I had time on my hand, I was like, "Oh, I don't even know what to do with myself." Right? I'm looking around like, "Oh, what can I do?" So I started doing some Chicago stepping, Detroit ballroom dancing, and spending more time with my friends and just being out in the world. And it was so refreshing. So the more I started enjoying my life, the more like I felt so much better.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
beautiful.
yeah, it is there's something special about taking care of you. It's something very because as a mom, I don't care if you're single or not. Sometimes even women with husbands have a hard time because their partners aren't very supportive. But as a woman, a mom, we put ourselves last so often, and it takes a toll on us, our bodies, our minds, our spirits, and you don't really see the impact until it's almost too late, unless you have some trusted partners, some trusted friends that see you and, can speak into your life. A lot of times we don't see that. And so what are some of the subtle warning signs that you see that people can um, even become alert to right before their energy starts to decline or they start feeling less productive? What are some of the warning signs that we can take a look at?
The warning signs, I would say, have to do with paying attention to sleep quality.
Mm,
If you've always been a good sleeper and now you're very restless, having crazy dreams, waking up multiple times, maybe getting hot flashes at night, that's something. Don't wait on that. There's that is
Yeah.
prime recovery time. So two things are happening there. One is you're not recovering because you're not getting the deep sleep you need. And
Yeah.
two, your body is giving you that communication saying, I'm having glucose dips, I'm having
Mm.
hormonal craziness. And those are real. Like you can take action with that. You can simple action. This doesn't mean anything crazy. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. The other thing is as you move throughout your day, if you notice you're less flexible, you go
Mm.
to bend over and you need to hold yourself up on the counter to get back up. You go to pick something up off the floor and you don't feel comfortable just squatting down. Your
Yeah.
knees, your hips, your lower back, you're not doing that. That is a sign that over time you've gotten stiffer. Your tendons and your joints need some attention. Don't wait. Now's the time to say, well, do I just need a little more mobility in my life? There's so many different ways to improve mobility. You don't have to go from that to becoming a super yoga person. There's
Yeah.
so many simple mobility things you can find even on YouTube. You don't even have to
Mm.
leave your house, but you need the health of your body is in there's a Chinese saying, which of course I don't know the Chinese phrase, but it's
Right.
like the health of your body is in the flexibility of your tendons. So if you
Ooh.
can still lift your hands and shoulders up over and do swimming movements with your shoulders, you're in good shape. If you
Mm.
go to lift up your arm and it's like, oh, it doesn't go any further,
Mhm.
don't wait.
Don't
That's
ignore
something that
that.
that you're like, okay, I got to do something. Is it just mobility or is there something else? Because remember, we talked about joints are where the body will store toxic stuff. That's like, well, we don't want it to go to the heart. We don't want it in the blood. So
Right.
let's pocket it away. And joints are a good place where it puts it. So that just might mean, well, we got to look at what are you putting in your body and
Mhm.
how is your elimination and your lymph. And so there's very simple things you can do to help fix that. So those are sleep and mobility. I would look at a nighttime thing and a daytime thing. Those would be the
Yeah.
two warning signs.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. What would you say, being the health detective, what would be the biggest health myth that you've heard or seen or have somebody has said to you?
Well, it's a little bit of a loaded question
Yeah.
because there is there is the existing traditional system. So we're in the United States. We have a health insurance system, we have a medical system, we have universities that get funding from the government. And so there is a system in place. The
Okay.
system in place will have one view of looking at the body, and it is that the body needs help. It can't. It needs to fight. There's this war analogy, like our body is fighting off something. People use it all the time. That there could be something attacking, or we got something,
Ah,
and no, things don't just fall out of the sky and we get it. We actually have a our myth. The myth would be that things could just happen to us, and that's not true. We have to take responsibility. It might not be our
mm,
fault. It might be, well, we were
gotcha.
born into a family and there's a lineage of toxic metal, heavy metal toxicity. And
Yeah.
so our children are born with, just more metals in their bodies than they should have, or that we are, if you aren't well nourished as a pregnant mom, then your baby might be born missing some nutrients, which will
Yeah.
cause, like, there'll be some symptoms, but that's so it might not be that baby's fault, but we know what that is. And
Gotcha.
so we can
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
help we can help both ourselves with our with new children. And the myth is that something has attacked us, that we're at the mercy of our genetics. There's
Mhm.
nothing we can do. That there are things that were our genetics. The genetics will tell us this color of our skin, the fact that I have gray hair, that will tell us how tall am I going to be.
Right,
There
yeah.
are things like that, but there's so many things that by the quality of our life, the quality of our nutrition, how we are able to keep environmental toxins out,
Yeah.
and or the ones that we do have to process them, that would be the myth that I think is really important
Mhm.
to shift. I have a client who has an organ that does not work very well,
Okay.
and it's well, I'll just say it's the bladder. The bladder doesn't work, and it's very easy for him to say it's not my fault.
Yep.
It's not 50 years of diet soda. It's not 50 years of these other things that he did. It just stopped working. It's not my fault.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I have to do these treatments. Well, there's important other things to look at. And
Mhm.
so yeah, that's what the myth I would say is your body's trying to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. So I told you on our previous call a little bit about my health issues and inflammation in my body. How can someone tell if the food that they love is quietly becoming a source of information and imbalance?
So when we have toxicity in our body, when our gut is not digesting food, when our stomach does not have enough stomach acid, it is not breaking down, and our small intestine is not metabolizing, everything is toxic. I have seen this with
Mhm.
children who are like, whatever I give them, I thought it was just wheat and it's everything. I can't eat anything. Even
Yeah.
adults get this way sometimes. And what that means is that there needs to be a simple food process of just eating simple foods to
Mhm.
allow the stomach and the small intestine to heal. Once it heals, those foods are reintroduced. So nothing is permanent. Like if you're allergic and you say you can't eat wheat, well, grains can be hard on people. So you have to see how are you processing all of your food first and then see, well, can I add that back on? Or um, there's people who are very sensitive to a compound called oxalates. Oxalates are in beets and spinach and Swiss chard and almonds. And imagine if every day you make a spinach almond butter smoothie, you're getting, and then put some chocolate. Chocolate has oxalates and red wine has oxalates. So those tannin type qualities,
Yeah.
and you could blame it like, oh, okay, now I have all of these problems happening. And you could say, well, I'm going to blame it on oxalates. That can be contributing to it, but it's also contributing to, well, what's going on in your gut that your body's not able to break it down. So you
Yeah.
might be having too many oxalates. That's true. Like you don't need to. Some
Mhm.
people eat like a lot of spinach every day, so you might need to cut back on that. But then also, let's look at, do you have the right enzymes being produced to break down your food? Because we should be able to metabolize things. Then there are people who, because of their lineage, did not grow up being able to eating their lineage did not eat dairy. So
Ah,
to go and eat a lot of cheese and milk, it just makes them feel upset because they don't naturally produce the
right.
enzymes to break that down.
Right.
So the number one thing to find out, is that food working for you, is to listen to your body. If you get indigestion, if you get gas, if you start burping, if you get little stomach pains,
Mhm.
if you feel tingling in your mouth or your throat, don't eat that food.
Mhm.
So that food might not be right for you. And if it's a food that we would generally consider healthy,
Yeah.
that means that, okay, we need to investigate. There's something going on with the stomach acid and the small intestine that there might be more to it than just, hey, there's this food. I have one
Right.
client who would say, I can't eat peaches, the skin of the peaches. Well, that's a red flag for me because peaches are like a beautiful fruit. So
Mm, mhm.
like what's going on in the skin and what else is happening in her digestive system that doesn't allow it to break it down. But for
Yeah.
now, she gets a little tingling from the skin of the peach. So don't eat the peaches, but let's investigate more. So that's the first thing is like if you're not sure
Gotcha.
if your food is helpful or hurting you, the other way to do it is to hold it in your hand and see if you can sense. Do you feel drawn to it? Is there like a leaning forward? Or do you kind of pull it away? Like, nope, I don't want it. So children
Mm.
do this naturally,
Yeah.
like babies and asparagus or babies and
Yeah.
broccoli. Like they just know. And their bodies are not set up maybe to digest those sulfur compounds. They're like, no, I don't want it. Now, this is a child that eats healthy food, not a Cheerios and little sweet treat, but that type of thing, um, they know right away that that's just not right for them at that
Mhm.
time. And then as they get older and their digestive systems mature, reintroduce it again. That's why with children, you're always reintroducing the foods. I'm sure you did
Right.
that with yours.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, you didn't like it today. Let's try it next month. Let's try it
Yeah.
again. Try it
Yeah.
again. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
point, they're like, oh, yeah, this is ready. But they have this incredible intuitive sense of this is right and this is wrong, even before they taste it.
Yeah. That's so funny because I was talking to my boys the other day. We were in the kitchen cooking together, and the things that they're eating now, if I had tried to feed them that 5 years ago, it would have been a no, right? So their palates are changing and expanding. And even me as a younger person, who certain things that I just wouldn't eat that I thoroughly enjoy now. But I also love what you said about um, because for me, I had to eliminate a lot of different. I basically eliminated everything. I went on a super cleanse, and I did strictly like a plant based diet, but it was all like um, veggies and fruits and juice. And then I started reintroducing food back into my body because I was trying to figure out what was causing me inflammation in my body. And I was just listening to what you said, and you said it doesn't have to stay that way. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, because I think that there's maybe a gluten allergy inside of my body because I love bread and pasta and all the things. And I'm like, so what I do is I'll take a taste of it, but I won't indulge in it like I used to. And
Mhm.
so I believe that, well, I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I reintroduce this into my body? Or maybe I don't know if there's something that I can do to to be able to enjoy some of the things that I used to enjoy that I can't now.
Mhm. So for grains, out of all the foods that we have eaten, grains are the last to be introduced. Farming, being
Mm,
stationary and cultivating fields, harvesting grains, those came latest. So those are the hardest. They have compounds because they're seeds. So seeds don't want to be eaten because if they're eaten, then they don't get to get planted in the ground and grow a new
ah,
plant. So there's a lot of compounds in seeds that say, don't eat me. So when we eat seeds, then like that is that's in us, and so our body has to like denature those plant compounds that are saying don't eat me. There are people who even say vegetables have all of those compounds too that say don't
mm,
eat me. So there are some people who get much better, they heal their digestive issues when they remove plants. So there is a diet for everyone.
Okay.
There's not just one way to do it. Plenty of people get well with green juices. That gets rid of all the boxed and processed stuff. And so that's simple. Some people really do get well removing all vegetables. Sometimes the fiber is too intense. Their bodies cannot break down fibrous
Wow.
foods. Some people need more fiber. So there is a diet for everyone. But
Yeah.
for you, with the grains, the way to make grains more digestible is for them to be either sprouted. So you can find people who make grains with sprouted grains. So once the seed starts to germinate,
Mhm.
it reduces all of those protective plant compounds. And then
Mm.
those sprouted seeds can be ground up and made into bread. The other way, which is, I think, much more delicious, is to ferment the grains. And that's the process of sourdough. That's the
Ah.
process of, and so you want to find someone who does at least a 24-hour fermentation. It can be even without yeast. And it's just there's beautiful ways of making sourdough that you can find maybe in bakeries that you don't need to do it yourself because that's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But sourdough where it's fermented um, with artisanal grains can be, you could try that. Try
Yeah.
one piece of that. And remember, you have not been eating grains, so your body isn't making enzymes to break that down.
Ah.
So if you just sit down and have a whole loaf of sourdough bread because it's fermented, and Beth said that's a good thing to try,
Yeah.
you will have an upset stomach because it's too much.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. Oh man, well, it has been such a pleasure talking to you, Beth. What is one thing that you would like to leave the Organized Life listeners with today?
I would like to tell everyone that your body wants to heal.
Mm.
Ask, listen, and take action.
Okay, well said. Short and sweet. We started off by saying that your body
Yeah.
wants to heal, and that's the conclusion. You guys, I hope that you got some great takeaways from this conversation with Beth. I know that I did. I'm going to go back. Well, when I edit, I'm definitely going to be writing me some notes because I have been a high performing person for many years and not listening to my body. And just recently, in the past few years, I've really started to take charge of that. And that's still a part of my journey of creating the organized life, not just the organized space. So, Beth, I really want to thank you for having this conversation with us and imparting your wisdom into us as the health detective.
My pleasure. So happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. And you guys know what it is here on the Organized Life podcast. If whatever strategy or system you're putting in place, even your food strategies and systems that we've talked about today, if it's not saving you in all four areas space, time, energy, and money you want to tweak it, revamp it, see what's working, what's not working, what you can change, how you can implement something different because you should be saving, from my perspective, in all four areas. Okay. If you want to be a guest here on the Organized Life podcast, or if you have a question that you would like for me or one of my guests to answer here on the Organized Life podcast, send us an email at info@extremeaudacity.com. We'll get you into rotation. We'll get your question into rotation, and we would love to have you. All right. With that being said, Beth, could you tell all the listeners how to find you? I'll definitely make sure we have our information in the show notes, in the descriptions, depending on where you're listening to this at. Beth, tell them where they can find you, about your business, your coaching, or whatever you would like to share.
Sure. The best way to find me is at my website, yourhealthwithbeth.com. And when you go there, there's a free quiz you can take where it will highlight what you should focus on and give you all of my insights.
Nice. Awesome. All right, you guys, we'll definitely make sure we have that for you so that you can go and check out Beth on her website. And until the next time, ciao.